Hello guys, my name is Amy and welcome back to the league races. Now this is the first race of season 2, so we are at Bahrain. We've got a few new people in. A lot of the drivers from last season have also gone, so a bit of a new experience. We don't know how these new people will be driving. We have only got 8 of us. There was a point obviously last season when it was like had a minimum number of people unless you really can't race. That we've got rid of that this year. It's a case of if we have 20 people, if we have 2 people, we're going to be racing. So this week is Bahrain, as you would normally start a season in a normal F1 IRL. You would start in Bahrain. Well, they have done for the past couple of years because of COVID, because of Australia. So yeah, bit of an interesting race. Keelan is back in, as she's Liam's friend, because he was only covering for somebody for maternity leave, and basically now he's unfortunately got no job now, which means he can now race. So without further ado, we'll get into the shenanigans of Season 2, Race 1 in qualifying. Into qualifying then, and unfortunately lap 1 is invalid. Unfortunately I'm running a little bit wide. Don't know why. It's a case of I know Bahrain like the back of my hand. But unfortunately lap 1 doesn't go to plan, so I do stay out. I've got plenty of fuel, so must have known. But we have got Liam behind us, unintentional tow. He does stay behind us for the duration of the lap because it's a thing of we sort of have team orders. It's one of them. Liam shouldn't really be worrying about his lap time either. But it's one of them. We'll take this more of a practice run. As you can tell, I am on the mediums. It's a case of because there's only 8 drivers in this race, there's no point in going for the softer compound because there's no need to try and get into the top 10. Now, we do run short qualies anyway, regardless how many people are in. But yeah, it's a case of there's not that many people in, so we'll just go on the mediums. Saves a set of softs. Not a bad lap overall at the moment. Obviously I have no best lap, so I can't really compare it to much. Try and keep as wide off that curb as possible as we go purple in sector 2. Very close to track limits on that little bit, on that exit, because obviously we do strict limits on well, we will be doing strict limits on the majority of these races. When the newer tracks come in, we will be on regular, purely because we don't really know them. But anyway, over the line, and P5 out of 8. It's not that bad, I don't think. But yes, it's a bit meh, we'll say. Unfortunately, Liam's a little bit further back. I would have let him through, but he didn't want to at this point. Not quite sure why, but hey. Qualifying complete then, and yeah, we have slipped to P7. I'm not overly worried about that. Being on mediums, I didn't expect to be that high up anyway. As you can see from Dioptric, he is running the softer tyre, so bit of a different strategy there, but as you can see, me, Liam and Keelan all go for the mediums. Liam out qualifying us there, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting strategy with us being on the mediums and everyone else on the softs, so we'll see how that goes. On to strategy then, and it's a pretty simple one really. Obviously did the quali session on mediums, so we'll be starting on the mediums. And yeah, I can't see the point of trying to do a 2-stop. Someone unfortunately does press the timer. We're supposed to have 3 minutes, but it might have been one of the new guys. But yes, default strategy it is. Formation lap complete. Yellow flags for some reason. But anyway, 5 lights are out, and we're off. The first race of season 2. I may have had a little bit of a slow getaway because I never like turn 1, hence the mad I'll carry on scenario. Someone completely goes off to the right hand side. He carries on now because I have my mini map up. So Josh, that kind of got a bit spun round, has carried on, so that's always nice. I believe Josh was in the end of last season, so he's sort of still new. But yeah, I am very, very cautious. Mainly because I've forgotten how leagues go, to some extent. I'm so used to doing my team and time trials that I've basically forgotten on basically this is how real life is to some extent. You've got damage and yellow flags. Well, you have yellow flags in my team, but you have all sorts happening in league races, and you can't flashback. So that's probably why I'm very cautious. But yeah, Nuttall ends up getting a bit involved somewhere, so that's why he ends up dropping back. No safety car on lap 1, and I'm really surprised at that. I can't see them being no safety car. But yeah, lap 1, a success for us, may not be for other people, as Nuttall and Josh come in. Clearly damage, as there's another guy spun round. Kieran, bless him, both Mercedes, now facing backwards. So yeah, the race has started somewhat okay for us, maybe not for others. Managed to get up to 5th, so we've made a few places up purely because other people have been spinning out. Whether they've been spinning out from collisions with others, or whether it's just themselves taking each other out. Dioptric's still in this league, so there's time for him to spin himself out yet. But anyway, yeah, we're sort of in the middle of the pack. Bit of a slightly lonely race at this point because we're not within DRS of the guy in front. And everyone else behind is sort of pitted, and Kieran's dropped back. So yeah, it's going to be a slow burner, I think, getting into this race. Although you guys know me, I don't try and battle because I am that cautious of a front wing. It is ridiculous. But yeah, lap 2 completed of 29, and we P5. We're halfway around lap 4 then, and unfortunately James is the first retiree. Now, where he's gone off, I can only assume he's got too far on the curb and spun it on the blue gravelly asphalt stuff on the left hand side, which is easy done. Done it many a time. But yeah, we have our first safety car of the season. Now, unfortunately, this is the Mercedes safety car, because this is before the latest update, because the Aston Martin safety car has also now been rendered into the game, which would have been on Bahrain because they've done it to what would be in real life. The thing is that I'm currently at the front because everybody else pitted. Being lap 5 and not really knowing how strategies are, I decide to stay out. Shoot me now if you want, but I seem pretty okay at the moment on the mediums. I know the whole point of pit stops, and you lose less time in a pit stop when you're behind a safety car, but being lap 5, Would hards be able to last that long? No idea. See, the thing is as well, Liam and Dioptric have both gone on to the softs. Now, there's no way you can tell me they are going to last 24, 25 laps. So they're clearly going to come in again. Same with Keelan. He's gone from mediums onto a new set of mediums. So he's going to have to come in again. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm alright to stay on these. The problem is, this is the first time in a league race that I've had to be at the front with the safety car. I roughly know what I'm doing. I keep everyone behind me and don't hit the safety car. So we'll see. Although my track record of safety cars, pretty shocking. So yes, the 30-40 second lead we had on the first couple of people that spun out that had to pit. So Kieran, Josh and James at that point. Yeah, they've all caught up. So we're all nicely bunched up. And I'm leading the pack. Safety car coming in then. And yeah, round the second to last corner. Obviously, I know I have to bunch them up. I have to let the safety car go. Not really, trying to warm my tyres up. I've been concentrating basically not to hit the safety car. That I forgot to warm my tyres up. I sort of bolt, but don't, because they say about where the safety car line is, and I'm not past the safety car. I completely have no idea where the safety car line is. Hence why basically everyone goes up the inside. I get a shove up the back. Unfortunate. I don't think he thought I was going to brake that hard. I don't think he got nose damage. I want to hope he didn't. But it's only a warning. Nuttall gets past us as well, but he's got quite a bit of a time penalty. We are on strict, so it's highly likely that people are going to get penalties. And Kieran's retired. Something's happened with both the Mercedes. Both Mercedes have stopped on the same lap. Now that is interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. All I noticed to start with that Kieran was out. But then looking at the mini-map, both Mercedes have stopped. And on different corners as well. So they couldn't have took each other out. Unless they did and one had to stop further on. I know there was a bit of shenanigans regarding, because I was trying to look at taking pictures for the thumbnail and stuff. There was a point where both Mercedes were side by side into a corner. So whether someone locked up or purposely just went on, don't know. But Liam and Dioptric are back in the pits for some reason. Liam going on to the hards. Interesting strategy. Dioptric going on to the hards as well. At this point I am kind of regretting not coming in for my pit stop. Being the second safety car, only on lap 8, I could have potentially pitted, because it's a thing of losing less time during a pit stop. But again, it's one of them trying to calculate in my head on basically how far these tyres can go, and basically just trying to figure it. See, I'm not on this game as much as Liam and Keelan, so they know what they can and can't do. But as you can see there, my tyre wear is still pretty good. 8 laps in, and I'm only like a third down So not too bad at the moment. But yeah, it's always a hard one thinking of what to do at the same time as trying to race and then trying to keep close to the guy in front while trying to check your tyre temperatures and then check where the guy is behind, which is Liam. And the thing is, I try and keep quite a way back. It's probably my fault. But yeah, I do. Wow, Liam glitched very big in the background. I don't know if you noticed in my rearview mirror then. Not gonna lie, I don't think I noticed it either. Unfortunately, Liam does go into the back of me there. Like I said, I try and be very cautious, and Liam just braked late. So yeah, Liam has got a couple of penalties because Dioptric keeps going into the back of him. So why Dioptric's not getting the 5-second penalties as well, I don't know. But yeah, unfortunate that both of Liam's time penalties are minor crashes during a safety car. And unfortunately one of them is regarding me. We'll just have to serve that in our pit stop when we come to it. But anyway, lap 9, and we're actually P3. End of lap 9 then, safety car coming in, and I'm not at the front this time. Not gonna lie, first experience of being at the front, I don't like it. So I think next time I'll just pit regardless. For some reason, Nuttall's trying to overtake the guy at the same time as coming into the pits, so I'm guessing he's just tried to get in front of the safety car before the safety car came in. Why he'd pit then, I don't know, but hey. But yeah, restart from the second safety car, much better. Mainly because I think it's Liam behind me again. I'd hope he knows how I drive by now, or clearly not, seeing as he kind of went into the back of me. We do sort of have team orders, like I say. I know Liam's a lot quicker. You know, when you get the radio message in real life going, you know, Fernando is quicker than you. In this case, Liam is quicker than you. Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's one of them, if the time came, I'd let him through. The thing is, I am obviously on the faster tyre. I'm not necessarily the faster driver. But it's one of them, I do kind of put up some sort of battle. It's not like he's up my exhaust or anything, so clearly doesn't want to get past me that quickly. But yeah, coming up to the end of lap 10 after the safety car, and we're in P2. So that the top 4, we've kind of ran away with it somewhat. As Liam gets really close, but I'm guessing he doesn't go past me at that point because he wants DRS. The thing is, DRS is not activated. He gets past me nonetheless, because I try and not put up a fight against Liam because I don't want him to get damage. You know, at the end of the day, he is my teammate. We are working together. And, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to be nice to each other, really, aren't you? We're nice to each other anyway. We've not got the normal sibling rivalry that most people probably have. So, yeah, I let him through, no problem. So, it does mean we are back down to P3. And Dioptric is behind us within DRS range. So, that will be interesting come later down the line. And then Nuttall in P5. He is a good pit stop time behind, but he is on the softs, so more than likely he's gonna catch up. Also, I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but my right side pod is damaged. Now, going back through the footage, I can't see where that contact would have come from. It was pretty early on. It never came up that I got damage. I don't even think Jeff has actually come up at this point and said that I've got damage. But yeah, I have a damaged Sidepod, so that's going to be interesting to say the least, as never had any damage to anything apart from a front wing before. So I don't know how the car's going to react, and whether it's going to blow up in my face. We shall see. But lap 12 then, and we're P3 out of 5. End of lap 14 then, and yeah, unfortunately Dioptric did overtake. It was the end of the DRS zone, so pretty easy, but it is our pit stop time, and quite a successful pit entry. We will be serving our 5 seconds that we did get during the safety car, but all in all, not a bad pit stop. 7.7, so obviously 2.7 take out the 5 second. We're now on hards, and yeah, it's just a case of getting to the end on these tyres. Just to get to the end in general, I think it'd be the idea at the moment. Problem is now though, Nuttall, that was like 30 odd seconds behind, is now only about 5, and he is on the extremely softer tyre. He does have a time penalty, but hopefully we can stay in front of him, and if he does get past, stay within that time frame so that it doesn't affect us. But yeah, it's one of them. Halfway through now, and we're P4 out of 5 from the 8 that started, and well, really, there's just so much more time for things to go wrong. So I guess it's just a waiting game and see what happens. Lap 20 then, and my Muppet of a brother has retired. He unfortunately got some sort of flick from the rear end and it spun him into the wall. He's on wheel, so you'd think he'd, be a little bit better controlling the car. But yeah, he said that, it literally just twitched. The back end just went, like one of his tyres had suddenly gone or something, but it didn't actually show anything. So yeah, unfortunately, as we go past the scene, he's not there because he's already effectively been recovered. Yeah, he at this point he's literally going absolutely mental. First race back and all, and he was on for a win potentially, only being 4 or 5 of us at that point. Yeah, he was on for some good points, and with only like 9-10 laps left, he just had to keep it on the track, and something happens, which how he comes to describe it was not his fault. So yeah, unfortunately, after all that, I'm now into P3, and Liam's out. Third safety car coming in this lap then, and again, not at the front. It's Keelan at the front with Dioptric, and then me. Nuttall is like a whole minute behind. We were thinking that it'd be a bit of a glitch again, like it was at the end of last season, where basically the safety car waited like 2 or 3 laps for me and another guy to catch up when we were like completely the other end of the map. But luckily they managed to sort that out, and we didn't have to wait. He's still like 40 odd seconds behind. Obviously he would have caught up probably quite a bit because of the safety car. Now there was a little bit of a thing. Now I am on hards, and I've been on the same set of hards since my last pit stop. and there was a big conversation regarding whether I come in for softs or not, and at this point I'm really glad I didn't. Now obviously in real life they would normally come in for the softer tyre if someone's that far behind, basically to capitalise on the faster tyre. I didn't really see the point because of how I drive. I don't really see that much difference. Plus, you'd lose about 20-25 seconds in a pit stop, which means Nuttall would catch up very quickly. I know he's got the time penalties still, clearly keep cutting corners. But yeah, it's one of them at this point. I'm thinking, no, I'll quite happily stick in third. He can stay 30 odd seconds behind me. We've only got 4 laps left. I'm on for a podium, and my first podium at that. So it's the thing of, I'm really glad I didn't go for the pit stop, because that would have brought me out probably a little bit too close for comfort, and that could have ultimately, cost my podium place. So yeah, I know Keelan Dioptric just gone. That's normal for me, really. I can't keep up with people that well. But yeah, seeing the gap come down between me and Nuttall as well, I am so glad I stayed out. Yes, I'm on hards, but he's like 30 odd seconds behind me. Technically 40 because of his time penalties. So I could have potentially have pitted, but I don't know how much he's going to catch up, how good a driver he is. He might be a hell of a lot better than me, I don't know. So he could bring that gap down pretty quickly. So yeah, I gambled again and didn't come in, as Keelan goes and gets the fastest lap, which doesn't surprise me being on softs. But yeah, as we look at my tyre wear, I'm only a quarter in, so I really do not see the point of coming in. Also, obviously, I've still got that Sidepod damage, so luckily I'm managing to keep it on track. Again, I can't remember when I got it, but Jeff only told me about halfway through, which then obviously Liam starts panicking, going, what's your engine temperatures? My engine temperatures there haven't seemed to be that bad, so it couldn't have been that big of a problem. It's only marginally noticeable, but yeah, it's one of them. If I can keep it on the road for another 3-4 laps, we're all good. But yeah, as you can see there, Nuttall has caught up like a whole 5 seconds. He's closed that gap down massively. So yes, staying out and not going onto the softs has been beneficial. On to our last lap then, as Nuttall's gone off again. We're bringing out yellow flags. We're still P3. Yes, obviously the other two have just gone. Even Keelan's pulled a gap between him and Dioptric. But yeah, an eventful race. Unfortunate that there was only 8 of us that started, but we had a race nonetheless. Again, unfortunately, DNF'd. He was shooting himself literally all the way since the off, right up to the end. But yeah, Nuttall comes into the pits. Not sure why. He's come in on the last lap, so it's not like he can get fastest lap. He's gone into softs for some reason. Not 100% sure on that one. But anyway, we've managed to keep the car on the road, even with the side pod damage. But yeah, it is one of them. It's been an eventful race. 3 safety cars. One of them being led by me as Keelan goes over the line. And and we come round the last corner, checkered flag, and we're over. As you probably may have noticed, Nuttall has gone off again, bringing out yellow flags. But yeah, there we go. We've finished, and our first podium, as we watch Nuttall just finishing off his race in P4. Bit of a lonely place, really, P4, especially with how many people have DNF'd. So yeah, it's a bit unlucky, but he still got some decent points. So yeah, that was Bahrain. As Nuttall has a crash and retires. Slightly awkward on the last lap, but the good thing is, it was more than 90%, so he will still be classified, so he will still get the points. But Keelan, driver of the day, gets an extra point for that. So, on to podium celebrations. Look at that, I'm on the third step. It's actually quite funny, because obviously I put the thing up to say that I'm going live, and Exotic, which is P2, actually mentioned, will we see the first female on the F1 podium? Yes, we shall. So thank you, Exotic, for the good luck messages. Final classification then, and yeah, as you can see, Nuttall still does classify because he did his 90%. So yeah, he does still get his points. Unfortunate that only half the grid finished, but yeah, I got my first podium. So guys, that was Bahrain. That was race 1 of season 2. And all in all, a really good race. I got some good points, 15 on my first race. So I think it took me a good half a season to get some decent points last season. So starting off on a high. And I'd like to say it can only get better. Bit of a shame regarding Liam. You know, he was on for a decent podium, if not the win. But the thing is, at the end of the day, even though he's now out of that race, I got promoted to third, so I got a few more points than I would have got. Yeah, okay, we could have had a double point finish, but I'm sure Keelan will crash out at some point, Liam. Just, you know, hold your horses and don't bolt too soon. I'm sure it'll happen to everybody at some point. But anyway, that will be it for this race. Next race, which if you're watching this on the Friday it goes up, so tonight at about 8ish, is one of the new tracks, which is Portimao. Now this track only came in Monday. Again, if you're watching this on the Friday, it's only been live for like a couple of days. So like I mentioned earlier, we will be running the regular corner cutting purely because we don't know the track, and it's a case of having to literally learn from the start. Things like Bahrain, it's always the beginning of the season, and with the amount of times I restart my team, I know Bahrain like the back of my hand. Portimao, no clue. Liam's already had a go at the time of me recording this commentary, and says there are a couple of corners that can catch you out. So if I actually finish next race, that'll be good. But being a new track, I'm not hopeful. So Liam will more than likely get the points for next race. So feel free to jump on my Twitch later on. If you give it a follow and turn your notifications on, that'll let you know when I go live. But anyway guys, if you liked this video, please leave a like rating. If you're new around here, if you could subscribe as well, that would be even better. If you click the subscribe button, that'll let you know when I go live. As for Twitch, feel free to follow and click the notification bell for that as well. And I will see you later on tonight for the race live. If you're not going to have a chance to get live, then the highlight video will be up next Friday, just as this one has been. On Mondays there will be another video of something else going up. I'm going to try and not do Breaking Point for a couple episodes, purely because of how much F1's been on my channel lately. So I'll be concentrating more on the Valhalla and No Man's Sky, Quantum Break, that kind of thing. So that'll be coming up on Mondays. Feel free to follow me on Twitch to get notified on Monday nights, on afternoons, for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Unfortunately I had a bit of an internet problem last week, so couldn't stream. So hopefully we're up and running properly for that Monday, probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock ish. So feel free to join me on that one. So bye guys.